and let me show it to you. There's a dominant cycle in this chart, which we can see really very clearly. I can draw it for you. What do I mean by dominant cycle? It's really dominant. You can see it. Okay. What cycle is that? In fact, I believe it's the 6-year cycle, but that's a debate that could take several hours, so we won't discuss in great detail. But there's a clearly visible dominant cycle. Now, applying the dominant cycle filter is not very complicated. All it does is in the central movement parts of the cycle, which is really just this stretch here, the upward move and the central downward move part, the central upward move part, central downward move part. What in Elliott wave theory is the third wave move. Elliott wave, of course, is 5 waves up. The third wave is the most powerful one. The dominant cycle filter says that during the strongest move, you should only take long trades on the upward side, and you know, if that's a reversal and you've got a 5-wave move down, you only take short trades there. So it's a filter that you can use using to basically filter out the dominant cycle. Let me show it to you again. So in this case, I would say that I wanted to apply a dominant cycle filter, which is this doesn't have a nominal model that includes the 6-year cycle, but it would be 5 or 6 cycles longer than the trading cycle. And if I was applying the correct chart, it would say 6-year. This chart has 9 years instead of 6 years as the longest cycle, so it will apply a dominant cycle filter on the 9-year cycle. It's a fairly crude and rough and ready filter that you can apply to your trading. As a matter of interest, we have been doing a lot of work recently on refining this process greatly, and the results are very exciting. So there's some exciting new developments coming in to do with that dominant cycle filter. In fact, I hope that answers the question about the dominant cycle and applying the dominant cycle filter. Now, at that point, I think that's really all that I am going to cover at this point in today's Trader Chat. If anybody has any questions, please put them into the chat window. Let me see. Everybody's been very quiet today. Let me see if I have missed any questions. Please pop any questions you have into the chat window. Remember that if you want to take advantage of the first time a 20% discount offer, then please send Paul Johnson a private chat message indicating that. And if you are a new user, I welcome questions about anything. Don't feel any questions are too stupid to ask. I'm happy to answer any questions. And if you are a current user and you're having issues or thoughts about things, send me complicated questions. Have I managed to sort out the problem with the previous webinars? Yes, we have. Webinar number 3 will be up by this evening. This webinar, today's webinar, will be. Sorry, Charles, I had a momentary panic. I looked up and I thought perhaps I've forgotten to click the record button, but don't worry, I did click it. This webinar will be available. The issue, I know you don't want to be bored with the details, but the issue has to do with uploading effectively over 1 gigabyte of video material to YouTube or to whatever server from which you can view it, and we don't want to do that. Our offices rely heavily on incoming financial streaming data. As you can imagine, it's the core of our business, and uploading videos to YouTube start getting in the way of our financial market data coming in, and so that's been a problem. Webinars 1 and 2 are absolutely available. There we go. Thank you, Paul. You can find webinars 1 and 2 links from there. Webinar 3 will be available, in fact, about half an hour after today's webinar finishes. And today's webinar will be available over the next 2 or 3 days. It does take us that amount of time to transfer it up. Although I'm hoping to get it done tonight, but we'll see how that goes. Okay. Any questions from anybody about anything we talked about or anything else? You're very welcome. I'd also love to hear from how our current Sentient Trader users are going, questions you have, ideas you have. I'd really like to start opening the forum up more extensively to current people, so it's not just me talking about things. Well, I will be staying online, and I'll be available to answer any questions that any of you have. You can send me private chat messages if you like, or just publish them to the forum. Any questions that any of you have, please feel free to put them into the chat window. And if you don't have any questions, then thank you very much for joining us yet again for Sentient Trader Chat, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And I would certainly be careful out there. I think that the markets are undergoing tumultuous times, and I think as that very low and rather threatening projection box indicates, we possibly don't have a lot of positive movement to look forward to in the markets. Anyway, so I hope everything goes well in the markets with everybody. Thank you very much for joining us on this Traders Chat, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Stephen, for trading decisions, what do you tend to use for price targets given the range of the projection boxes? Okay, Stephen, the price target is always the exact center of that price target. Actually, no, there's a slight complication, and I can demonstrate that with these two boxes here. The projection, the most simple way, and let me pull up the whiteboard again. The most simple way of doing it is to use the center, and what Sentient Trader does is uses the center if the underlying trend of the cycle is neutral, or for various other reasons Sentient Trader does not expect the target to be much distorted by underlying trend or other things that are going on in the market, then Sentient Trader will use the exact center which is there. It's the most highlighted point, which in this case is just a bit above 1250. If, however, underlying trend or other causes make one believe that one should expect a trade to be either undershot or overshot, then Sentient Trader, instead of using the center, will use half the distance between the center and one of the edges. So here's an example. This green box, I hope you can see it here, this green box is for a downward projection, of course, and the fill of that box is extending below that box. Okay, which means that it expects this projection to be overshot. In that case, the actual target that is used is the midpoint between the highlight part, which is there, and the bottom of the box, which is over there. So it would use a lower one. Now, if you had an underlying trend situation that caused Sentient Trader to expect price not to go that far down, then it will take half the distance between the highlight and the top of the box, of course, which would be over there. As a general rule, if price enters this box as defined by the blue lines, then it's very possible that the price target has been fulfilled with a shortfall. So price here dropped into this box. You see it dropped down to that level there. When that happens, Sentient Trader moves the start of the next leg, indicated by this circle over here. Perhaps I should clear my whiteboard and try this again. Let's see. I need to turn on that. Okay, so now of course Sentient Trader has turned off its okay, there we go. Pen is a bit fiddly. Okay, so price has dropped into the blue box. Here's the blue box. Price has dropped into it. There's the low, just dropped into that. And so Sentient Trader has moved this circle, which is the trigger point or the start of the next projection leg, to that bar. If Sentient Trader didn't think there was a possibility that the next move up had started, then that circle would actually be over here in the center of that box. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Thank you, Alain. Look forward to seeing you next week. Stephen, I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Jose. Thank you very much. I hope things are going well. Is that Jose in Spain who you're working with our intraday version of Sentient Trader? Am I right? Or is it a different? Okay, good. I hope things are going well. Look forward to seeing you next week. Great. I'm very glad. As a 5-week cycle low, John, 5-week cycle low. Forgive me, I'm a little slow. 5 weeks is 35 days, 40 days. Yes. Okay. Well, that's really interesting because that's exactly what I'm suspecting. I've put the wrong workspace open here. But that's exactly what I'm expecting. John, I don't know if you've noticed, I've started publishing a lot more sort of ST outlooks. It'd be great, perhaps, to pull you in on that with your insight. It'd be fantastic to set something up. So let's talk about it. So if yesterday was a 5-week cycle low, John, are you expecting the next 5-week cycle to be skewed to the downside, or which I certainly am, or are you thinking it might be a more balanced or even a bullish cycle? Elite wave support to see SP around 1250. That'd be great, because if you publish that in the forum, yes, that'd be fantastic. In a few days, yeah. Yeah, I must say, I think that's going to happen. It's been very choppy, hasn't it? And it's because nobody wants to come to terms with what's really going on. And what's really going on is pretty glum. Well, yeah. So you're saying that. So you're saying there's the 40-week cycle low, perhaps not even. No. Just a few days. And to a low in late November. Okay, good. Yes, yeah. I think it'd be interesting if it comes in a bit early. I'm still not sure whether it's late November or early January. I keep sort of